thing to do if you have this type of, I guess, dad humor, if you want to call it, what I've been doing the past couple of days. I actually got sucked into Stranger Things, season 4. I watched 1, missed 2, saw a little bit of 3, but I'm caught up on season 4. The heel, if you want to call him that, on the show, his name is Vecna, and what I like to do is botch names intentionally. So instead of calling him Vecna, here are a list of words, and it really upsets people who watch Stranger Things. My wife gave me weird looks. My stepdaughter is giving me crazy looks because I kept on calling him Voltron. Today I called him Voldemort. Velcro was my original thing. Volkov, kind of wrestling. Vyacheslav, I'm a hockey guy. That one kind of makes no sense. Vagna, I thought it was kind of funny if you put an I in there. I don't know, the double syllables. But for all of us wrestling fans, if you really want to botch this and have some fun with it, there's really only one name. One name to use. Oh, the sweet sounds of the Black Cats NYC. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast, powered, as always, by our friends at the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power. Today's tasting good, boys. We got a fun episode ahead of us today. My name is Karl. I will be the ringleader of this circus. I don't know, last week we'll call it our group of misinformation. I don't know how we're not rich yet, but regardless. On the bottom part of our screen, right below me, the first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are things today?
Good. Doing good, sir. Good to be back with you, as always. Lots of fun ahead of us.
Definitely. Next to him on the bottom part of their screen.
And number 4, John Smith.
John, how are things today?
Doing good, man. Waiting for Johnny to get home from wind ensemble auditions right now. He's been at school for 2 hours trying to. He plays percussion, so good luck to him.
Oh, wow. I can see Johnny banging on some stuff. That makes complete sense. James Wheeler already chiming in. 7 participants in Money in the Bank. I had this conversation with John DeConnie today. We'll find out. We're gonna get into Money in the Bank a little bit later, James. And then next to me on the top part of the screen from minutestobelltime.com, Ryan Joy. Ryan, how are things today?
Things are good. Can't wait to get into some of these picks today. We got a handful of things to pick. So
we do, and we have you leading off the show this today because we're going to lead off with AEW. I'll get to that in a second. On our show today, we have our first undisputed championship title defense by our tribal chief this Friday on SmackDown. Apollo Crews returned to NXT last Tuesday and got right into the thick of things. Gary Mehaffy is with us today to discuss NXT UK and the UK Women's Championship barn burner that was this past Thursday. I really enjoyed that. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, presented by Ryan Joy and Minutes to Bell Time, and sponsored, as always, by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. My phone is just going absolutely nuts right now. And of course, guys, she'll like it too. Did see a new commercial for that today. I really have to find the new, but I like these two. These two are better than the 2 ones that are doing. My phone is going nuts. John, is there anything fantasy football going on right now that is blowing up John Smith? Like, I had never seen my phone go this nuts unless it's Cubby and.
No, I gotta send that out. That I have a feeling a couple people are quitting the league.
Yeah, also, just want to let everybody know, I have on my team, it's a keeper league, Alvin Kamara. I'm willing to get, I don't have a first-round draft pick to save Alvin Kamara. Anyone wants Alvin Kamara, he's being sold cheap right now. So he's probably not playing ever again. Anyway, we're going to main event the show with making our picks for Impact's 20th anniversary, their big summer event, Slammiversary. Here are our Raw roll-up standings going into today. Raw with a 5 roll-up lead on AEW. NXT UK trying to crack double digits. Impact 19, SmackDown with 20. Let's see what happens over there. Travis is always with us when we talk roll-ups. We are going to curtain jerk the show with AEW Dynamite. Oh. And we had a championship eliminator series, if you want to call it that. Brian Joy, we knew the show was going to kick off with the Battle Royal. We probably should have leveled our expectations with that one. We got a little Royal Rumble-ish with thinking who was going to be in it and all these surprise entries and this, that, and the other. And another impressive performance by Mr. O'Reilly.
You know, it's funny. I think the biggest surprise about the Casino Battle Royal is that it was a Casino Battle Royal to start with. Like, they announced it as a Battle Royal. They typically would say that it was going to be a Casino Battle Royal. So once we realize it's a Casino Battle Royal, as we're watching the show, we're thinking, who's going to be the Joker? Because that's you know, that's where you're like, here's your surprise entrance, somebody from the outside. Well, it was somebody we hadn't seen in a bit. It ended up being Andrade, and Andrade was there towards the end. He was one of the final four. But maybe the secondary surprise in this whole thing is that the final two were Kyle O'Reilly and Wheeler Yuta. And as that starts to materialize, your mouth starts to salivate because, oh my God, we might get another Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta match, which will just be hard-hitting and incredible to close the show. Well, we didn't get that. Kyle O'Reilly won the Battle Royal by eliminating Wheeler Yuta at the end. And that would set up your main event of Kyle O'Reilly versus Jon Moxley. And I will say this. I don't think anybody was looking at that match saying Kyle O'Reilly's going to Forbidden Door to compete for the interim championship.
You know what? With what he's been doing recently, I gave him a shot. Gave him a shot. I'm like, he's been shocking all of us.
It seemed far-fetched.
Yeah.
Now you could make a case for yourself. Okay, well, if they're going to put the belt on Hiroshi Tanahashi, maybe they don't want to beat Moxley, so send Kyle there, and it'll be a good match or whatever. But largely, I think people were thinking Moxley's going to take this and he's going to go to Forbidden Door, and that is what happened. Paradigm shift, got the win there. But if people were down on Kyle O'Reilly before, I think he has been sort of rehabbed. He had a killer match with Moxley, and I think a lot of people are looking at him differently than they did coming out of his NXT singles run. So we'll see if he does more singles matches in AEW or if he kind of slips back into the tag team and then they pull him out once in a while for this kind of thing to do a good singles match. But good match out of O'Reilly. Moxley's going to the pay-per-view, though.
Real quick, James Wheeler asking, Raw roll-ups. We got some Raw roll-up questions here. Yes, victories. Not just, oh my God, usage. That'd be absolutely nuts. But no, these are all roll-up wins, James. It's winning, I wouldn't say the cheap way most of the time, 9 times out of 10. We had a discussion with the UK situation. That's the first time we ever had to pull back a Raw roll-up because we were just so impressed. But anyway, yeah, so Kyle O'Reilly. And the fun thing, I'm watching that. I'm like, okay, Andrade versus Moxley, that's going to be awesome. And then he gets out. I'm like, oh, wow. Or Darby was in there, too. I'm like, all right, Darby can win this. Darby versus Mox, that'd be fun. Like, he's gone. Then Andrade's gone, like I just mentioned. And then I'm like, oh, Wheeler Yuta, like, these guys just had it. And as you mentioned. And then we go Kyle O'Reilly again. And it's funny, during the match, I'm thinking, Kyle does that thing where he flies through the ropes and comes back with the clothesline. Mm-hmm. Making fun of him and Mox, and they didn't do that spot. They should have they both should have simultaneously went through the ropes and clothesline, which I was waiting for it. But what I have down in my notes, it looked like AEW was getting everyone ready for Forbidden Door because that match was exactly what New Japan Pro Wrestling is. They beat the crap out of each other for about 15 minutes with the forearms, the punches back and forth, the kicks and everything. And that is just if you're not familiar with New Japan. That's it. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that come Forbidden Door, and James Wheeler is correct. Boom is going to be lit. In a promotional match, speaking of New Japan, Hangman Page, he defeated New Japan's David Finlay after a buckshot lariat. Post-match, Hangman Page said he wants the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Since he wasn't in the Battle Royal, he's not in line to get a title rematch. They don't have that clause. Shane McMahon did with that. I guess AEW follows suit with that. But that caused Adam Cole to jump out of his chair at the announce table, saying that he should be the one to challenge for it. We'll get into the IWGP Championship because that was defended at Dominion this past weekend. Ryan Joy, we'll get to that and all that happenings with his independent segment coming up immediately after AEW. So stay tuned with that. Randomness also, I guess they had before the show started, there was a backstage segment, John DeConnie. Thunder Rosa kind of threw out an open challenge saying she'll fight anybody. And Mrs. Roddy out of nowhere.
Yeah, which was an odd choice because they hadn't really done much to build her back up after Karl. You knew you were going to get a pretty good match out of her, and indeed we did. We got a good 8.5 minutes out of these two ladies for the AEW Women's World Championship. But eventually Shafir would kind of go for a side seat backdrop. Rosa countered into the Cazadora. She rolled underneath and hooked the legs for the cha-ching roll-up victory. But I guess this match was more about the post-match because afterwards Shafir would jump right back on Rosa and lock in that crazy head and arm submission that she puts on. And she was cranking on that, and Rosa was, kind of screaming in pain. Toni Storm comes down for the save. In pretty quick order, she gets rid of Shafir, but then she kind of hesitates and looks longingly at the AEW Women's title before handing it back to its proper owner, Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, they say Marina was pissed. Yeah, that's fun match. Mrs. Roddy out of nowhere. Good for her. You kind of forget that she's been on Dark Elevation. They rattled off her record. As she was walking the aisle, it was pretty impressive. So she's been doing some work. More Thunder Rosa open challenges, please. Also give me get Tegan back in here. And James, what Thunder Rosa did in that match, that is a roll up, as John DeConnie checked off as we keep track every week. So that is what a roll up victory is, and we go forward from there. We're going to switch real quick to Rampage before we get into the matches for this week's Dynamite. Trent Beretta did an in-ring promo on Dynamite, wants another crack at FTR since their first match concluded with Cobb and Great O'Khan beating the hell out of both teams. Very Raw-like of AEW on that one. FTR appeared, agreed, and then all three of them got their asses kicked by Will Ospreay and the United Empire. Ryan Joy, they fought over that. They fought about that on Rampage.
Yeah, 6-man tag, FTR and Trent, unlikely tandem there, trio, versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open of the United Empire. A weird way to debut Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, and put him in a 6-man tag, and it's a losing effort as well. But he still had some really cool spots in the match. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door. Hopefully it's not one of these multi-person matches. He should get a big singles match. And we'll talk about some of the implications coming out of Dominion that might lead us to believe that we might get a big singles match. But in this match, Trent actually got the win. If you were to look at all 6 guys and say, which one of these guys do you think might get the pin in this situation? Trent would probably be ranked number 6 in that list. But he got the pin here, strong 0 on Fletcher from Aussie Open to get the win. So that's how Rampage ended on Friday.
Yeah, I gotta get used to it. See, I'm a little behind. I have no idea who Aussie Open is, so I'm still learning with everybody else who these New Japans are. Obviously, I know who Will Ospreay is. I've seen him a bunch of times. He's a talent. Shout out to Will Ospreay. Shout out to him. Shout out to Tanahashi. No, that was 2 weeks ago. Tanahashi was there. But Will flew back overseas for Dominion, so he's getting to speak with Flyer Miles in. I'm sure there's a couple other people that had to do that too. Also, last week on Dynamite, Eddie Kingston was backstage after the Battle Royal, was pissed off that Jake Hager cost him the world title because Eddie promised himself he was going to be world champion one day. So Jake Hager, he took that away from him, so they fought about it on Rampage, and Eddie Kingston got the win. I would have lost money on that one big time after 2 spinning back fists on Jake Hager. So big win for Eddie Kingston. Also on Rampage, Chris Statlander defeated Red Velvet after Friday Night Fever post-match attack, which turned into another 6-woman brawl again involving Jade Cargill and the baddies with Athena, Statlander, and whoever the 6th person is. I can't even remember right now. Anna Jay, excuse me, sorry. And then we got our first look, John DeConnie. I Spy a Jersey Guy with Jay Lethal. We haven't really thrown that out there with him recently. But I'm assuming what happened was they took Sunil and Sumir Singh, they threw them in a blender, and that's how they got Satnam Singh. They're like transformers that combine to this gigantic guy.
Yeah, well, he was wearing kind of a unitard kind of singlet with the long pants, so I think the Singh brothers might just be standing on top of each other's shoulders.
Like Muppet
so,
Man, yeah.
Jay
What you call him?
So we had Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh making his debut against Davey Vega, poor Matt Fitchett. This one only went for a little under 2 minutes. And Singh got in. He ragdolled a couple people around the ring, and then just kind of held both victims in place by their skulls as Lethal hit the double lethal injection, and then covered Fitchett for the 1, 2, 3 and got the win. And then afterwards, because I guess Davey Vega had rolled out after the lethal injection, Singh picked Fitchett back up, got him up for a mile-high razor's edge, and then just spun him like a top down to the canvas. It did not look like a pleasant landing.
No, absolutely not. And the funny thing is, every time Jay Lethal hits lethal injection, all I hear is Vince McMahon with a lethal dose of poison. That's just me. Now we're going to go back to Dynamite, and we're going to pick our matches for this Wednesday's upcoming show, huge show called Road Rager. First things first, I said, as we went about last week, we have the All-Atlantic Championship born. I guess there's going to be a new championship in AEW. For all of you guys waiting for trios titles, wow. John DeConnie as our belts aficionado. What do you think, pal?
It's another beauty based on the old Mid-South belt that the women's title is actually based on as well. So I thought that was an odd choice. But more getting back to what you were talking about, other than the belt itself, how the hell are we getting another singles belt before we get it with the trios titles?
Since we're in Japan and the Atlantic.
Yeah, well, you see, everyone's saying that. Oh, Japan's in the Atlantic, and even Buddy Matthews from Australia competed in this tournament. He actually, that was the opening match. Pac defeated Buddy Matthews with the Black Arrow to advance the Forbidden Door. But Christian was the champion of Europe. I think Rob Van Dam was the last ever European champion. Everyone's just gotta pump the brakes on this and just relax.
Tanahashi was the U.S. champ. Yeah.
Tanahashi was the IWGP United States champion. So,
is this going to be like in between the TNT and World titles, or is this supposed to be below the TNT title?
I don't know, but looking at this tournament and who they have in it, Pac already advanced. What they're doing, they're having 4 qualifying matches. The winners go to a fatal 4-way at Forbidden Door to crown the new champion. This is what we're getting Wednesday. We're going to get Miro, and I don't know if you just want to save your picture. He's going to beat the holy hell out of Ethan Page. And then next week is going to be Malachi Black and John Smith's best friend Penta, plus 2 unknown athletes from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
They're known. Here's who they are. They're happening in Japan. It's Tomoaki Onma versus Clark Connors. Clark Connors is actually a U.S. Person trained in the LA dojo. That's one match. There's also Tomohiro Ishii versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That's the other match. the winner of those two will face each other to be the New Japan entrant into the Fatal 4-Way. So it looks like it's going to be Ishii.
He was the first. Him and Minoru Suzuki. I'm like, it's got to be one of those two. Because if you're putting Pac, that poor bastard. I mean, that was first of all amazing match with Buddy Matthews. I mean, that was every cruiserweight championship match I wanted it to be in WWE. They never crossed paths, but like, holy hell, that would have been amazing. But you got him, you got Miro, you're gonna have Malachi Black, and I'm like, that fourth person from New Japan has either got to be Minoru Suzuki or it's got to be Tomohiro Ishii. And if Ishii, that match is going to be a lot of fun. And
just Miro.
Anybody want to pick against Miro this week? I mean, I know there's Ethan Page is great and all. Go Canada, but
Miro.
Yeah. Yeah. So that will be on Wednesday night as that tournament continues. Wardlow did an interview with Tony Schiavone. Here we go. He asked not to be in the Battle Royal because he wants Punk when he gets back. Just like I've seen some UFC guys do it too. They win the interim championship and then they ask Dana White not to put the belt on him because it's not real. So Wardlow went that route. I think if anybody is going to go that route with the way the fans are complaining, the ones who are complaining about the work interim, Wardlow just won another, check mark in your book. Like, oh, that's my guy. That's Wardlow. He agrees with me. So Wardlow, he has not to be in it because he just wants he wants Punk when Punk gets back for the real thing. So to be continued with that. In the meantime, he wants another title that he was robbed of. That's the TNT Championship. Scorpio Sky came out. He wasn't afraid of Wardlow. So to be continued with that, and these mid-card champions, one already was in trouble. Scorpio Sky is getting challenged by Wardlow. He's in trouble. And then you got Theory getting challenged by Bobby Lashley. I think our mid-card, they're falling one by one to these gigantic guys. And we'll get to those when they happen. But in the meantime, after Scorpio Sky got pushed back, we got met by Mark Sterling, and representing the Arena Security Association, whatever it is they're called. So Wardlow can either show up to court or beat up 20 security guards in an elimination match this coming up Wednesday. So we have the plaintiffs versus Wardlow. Normally when you say something like that, it is in a courtroom. But no, Wardlow gets to beat up 20 of them in an elimination-style match. Ryan Joy.
All right, so before I make my pick on this, I need to clarification. Now, Al, as a shoot job, you work in an arena. Yes. Are you part of this class action, Sue, and are you one of the 20?
I am not a security guard, but I know there's one of the security guards, Diane. They call her the Dream Killer because all she does is yell and stuff when kids are trying to have fun or whatever. So
okay.
Diane, I think, will give Wardlow a run for his money.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think I'm taking any of the security guards at UBS or Barclays or the NASA. And that's out of all of them. They're great crews in those three arenas that I worked at. The Prudential Center for. None of them are touching Wardlow. Diane might, but other than that.
All right. So I think I'm picking Wardlow here against the 20. I think the question is just how many power bombs we're going to see. I think 20 is the minimum, but I think the last guy is going to get at least 4. So I'm going to say 24 power bombs.
John Smith, over or under?
I'm definitely taking the over on that one. I'm going to go with 34.
34 power bombs.
I think he's going to tee off on like the first couple and maybe be up close to 20 after like 3 guys.
Wow. I put in my notes, I forgot to say it on air. Wardlow hit MJF with 10, John Nicani. They call it a symphony of power bombs. That was a grand old opry of power bombs. If he can land 34, is he going to do 2 at a time here? Like, can he lift 2 security guards up under and then slam them on each other? Like, is that going to be attempted?
That was going to be exactly my point. I want to know whether or not he's going to – I could see him maybe hitting, double choke slams or something like that. I think he might powerbomb one guy onto another guy. Because I'm not sure how many people are going to go at him at once, so we're not quite sure how this is going to work. I'm going to try and make some money here and pick the under because I think everyone's going to be going heavy on the over.
Okay.
34 power. That's incredible.
Now, if he powerbombs two guys at once, does that count as one or two powerbombs?
You're a call, John. You're the over-under guy. You counting? I mean, I do the roll-ups, not the power bombs.
I think if he executes the move, it's a power bomb. It's one, right? If he does two at one time, it's still one.
The Young Bucks were doing a video with Brandon Cutler backstage in a locker room. They left their door open, so the Hardys popped in, then Jurassic Express. And Christian was overhearing that they both want title shots. So Christian, again, he's having a little too much fun with throwing Jurassic Express into the fire here. But this match, unfortunately, who the hell knows?
Well, it's not happening because he's suspended without pay. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jeff Hardy. You know what? Everyone's kind of pooping and whatever on Jeff Hardy, giving up on a call. It's never too late. You know, that's all I'm going to say. It's never too late for Jeff to turn things around. So let's just play devil's advocate, or matchmaker, what do you want to call it? John Smith, let's just say Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks in a ladder match, 2-on-2. What do you got?
So I'm assuming this is still going to be for the title.
I would think so. I don't think you can, especially in a show like this where we got this match, you got Wardlow beating up 34 power.
Do you think Matt Hardy has a partner that comes and helps? And Matt Hardy and Christian, is Christian healthy?
That'd be funny.
It's Christian. Wow, that's the swerve. Like Matt Hardy's got a mystery partner, and it's actually Christian hops in. That'd be John. You should book.
Word. I'll go with Matt Hardy and Christian.
It has been changed. 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago it was changed.
20 minutes ago it was changed?
To a 2-on-2. Yep.
2-on-2. All right.
Okay, then I gotta go with the I gotta go with the Bucks on this one because it's a ladder match.
John DeConnie.
Oh man, when this was the three-way, I figured this was going to be the breaking point for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus finally looking at Christian and saying, look what you got us into here, and then they lose their belts. Now that it's just 2-on-2, I'm going to say Jurassic Express retains. Excuse me.
Ryan Joy.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Bucks are going to be the first two-time tag champs. So I think this was probably going the way of the Hardys. So I'm going to say retain.
Luchasaurus putting Jungle Boy on his shoulders to climb the ladder, grab the belts. And probably our main event and probably the biggest stakes that Chris Jericho has ever had his entire career. We got hair versus hair. They really didn't do that much with it this past Wednesday. I think Ortiz had a promo on Rampage saying, what kind of rock star will Jericho be without his hair? John DeConnie, as a Chris Jericho enthusiast, we've seen Jericho with short hair before. That's where I'm thrown on this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not gonna be...
Yeah, I'm if this was a shave 'em bald thing, I would say then you would be like, oh, okay. I don't know if the Jericho's going to want to be shaved bald, but we've seen him with short hair, and he looked like John Bon Jovi with short hair. He still went out and, was the lead singer of a rock and roll band. It didn't really matter. I'm going to go with Jericho winning, and I just wish Ortiz's hair hadn't been all, braided up and whatnot, because if he was rocking the Oscar Gamble fro and that's what we were buzzing off, that's entertainment right there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Jericho winning.
Okay. Did I run over? No, I didn't know. John Smith.
Yeah. I'll go with Jericho also. Yeah.
Ryan?
I'm going to pick Ortiz to be different. I don't. I mean, standard one-on-one match. There's no way Ortiz is pinning Chris Jericho, but there's friends and stuff involved. So I'm gonna pick Ortiz, and we're gonna get short hair Jericho.
Jericho's a wizard.
It's true.
As Ryan Joy, as you said, we had 2 new matches added for Dynamite. Tony Storm and Britt Baker. John Smith, how do you like that one?
That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna go with Britt on that one. Or I mean,
All
no,
right,
I'm gonna go with Tony Storm with the Royal Roll Up. Actually,
nice. John DeConnie, a little interpromotional accident stemming from Rampage on Friday. Will Ospreay traveling back stateside. He's got Dax Harwood of FTR.
Oh wow! Definitely give me Ospreay in this match.
All right, gentlemen, John and John, we'll give you a little bit of a break here. We got back-to-back one-on-one segments here, so don't go too far. We will see you in a little bit as we stay with Ryan Joy going over some independent news here. We had 2 huge shows. If you want to start with Dominions and the world title that we mentioned, Adam Page, he was gunning for Okada. Cole said, pump the brakes, for a sec. He's fighting my boy Jay White, and then Cole was right.
Yeah, Jay White wins the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship from Okada this past weekend at Dominion. So that begs the question of what's next. Is it going to be Jay White versus Adam Page? Is it going to be Jay White versus Adam Cole versus Adam Page? Is it going to be a 4-way with Okada in there? That's my vote. I hope that's what they go with.
Yeah.
Either way, it looks like the IWGP Heavyweight Championship is going to be an interesting bout at Forbidden Door. So that happened. There's a whole bunch of other title changes that happened as well. But Hiroshi Tanahashi did get through. He got past Goto. So it's going to be Tanahashi versus Moxley for the AEW World Championship interim version. Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan, they won the IWGP tag titles. That's kind of interesting because they were the people who ran in on FTR and Roppongi Vice. So I don't know if this is going to be like ROH and IWGP titles on the line in a match. Hopefully we get answers to that, this week. We just talked about how Ospreay and Dax Harwood are going to have a match. So they're obviously continuing this feud. So we'll see what happens there. Speaking of Will Ospreay, though, we talked about him getting a big singles match against an AEW guy. Well, he's got Dax Harwood. I expect that match to be good, but he's also the United States champion, beating Sonata at the Dominion show. So it's possible that we have some sort of Will Ospreay U.S. title defense at Forbidden Door. It would make sense. They're on U.S. soil, so defend the title. But anybody's guess who that could be. And then the last one is, it's kind of a wild card here, is Karl Anderson, Machine Gun Karl Anderson.
Yeah.
He beat the good bad guy Tama Tonga for the Never Openweight Championship. And it's interesting because you got Karl. He's going to be, I believe he's going for the Impact Tag Team titles this coming weekend.
Yep.
So I assume he'll be on the Forbidden Door show. Now, whether he'll be in a tag team capacity or he'll be in a singles capacity is a really interesting question, because if the Young Bucks were to win those tag titles on Wednesday, setting up the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers is something that AEW has wanted to get to for a long time. So that's a possibility we get, but then you have the Impact tag titles that could also be in there as well. So,
and then Doc Gallows was on.
Yes, and he lost
as well. I saw that. I got to try to find and watch it because Toru Yano is my boy. I think that would have been a great match.
The most protected guy in all of wrestling, Doc Gallows, lost to Toru Yano, who's the only guy who can beat one of those people. Toru Yano can beat the most protected guy on any given night. He beat Kenny Omega when Kenny Omega was champion, so anything can happen.
He beat Moxley.
Yes, he beat Moxley. Yes. And actually, I should mention, and I didn't realize this last week when we were talking about this, but a few years ago, right after Moxley left WWE, he went to New Japan and he competed in the G1 Climax.
Yes.
The person who eliminated him from contention was Hiroki Goto, who was competing against Tanahashi to make it to. So that made that, if knowing that makes it a little bit more interesting, that match that Tanahashi and Goto were having. But either way, Tanahashi still won. So
And rightly so. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't screw with that because that wouldn't have been fair to Tanahashi or the fans either. You know, you bring him out as the guy that's supposed to fight Punk, and then all of a sudden,
And
you rip
Tanahashi
that
has
knife.
issued a challenge to Punk for Wrestle Kingdom. Now, I don't know if he was just kind of talking off the cuff type of thing, but Tanahashi has invited Punk to come fight him at Wrestle Kingdom. So
it'd be
that
interesting
could
to
be
see how many of these guys actually can make the trip over now. You know, like I said, you know, you have I wouldn't call it a forbidden door. You know, we kind of got home field advantage here. You know, you got to give Japan some love too. Send some of our guys over there if they have a big enough roster they can do with Dynamite stateside and still send guys over.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
And then NWA always ready, kind of.
Yeah. So
ready. He couldn't do it.
The big match that I think had the most attention was actually Camille versus Kylan King. I think that match had more interest than anything else on the card, and it delivered. If you haven't seen it, it's the best Camille match I have ever seen. And I think maybe it's because Kylan is sized appropriately with Camille, so it's a different type of match. Camille's usually wrestling somebody much smaller. So this match was really, really good, really interesting bout. Camille did get the win, so she has a title defense over Kylan King. But really good match there.
All right, good.
And then, go ahead.
And then you said the G1 starting, going back to New Japan, the G1's going to get fired up right away, huh?
Oh, do you want to cover the rest of the NWA show, then jump over to that?
How are we on time right now? Gary, how you doing, pal? Is Gary okay? Yeah, all right, Gary's okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay, real quick. Trevor Murdoch ended up being the new NWA champion.
Oh, so, I'm sorry. We did that. Yeah.
So he beat Shaw Samuels, the former Dexter Lumis, Nick Aldis, and Tom Latimer. So that's basically it. It was like a 25-minute setup of Matt Cardona relinquishing the title, and then they had the match. But
they went right back to Trevor Murdoch, huh? That's a two-time champ.
And Murdoch was kind of in the process of turning heel, but it seemed like after he won the belt, he came back around to babyface. So whatever. Al, you mentioned the G1 Climax. 28 wrestlers in the G1 Climax this year. We know there's going to be 4 blocks of 7. We don't know anything about the configuration of the nights, who's going to be in what block, but I have the 28 names. I figure I might as well say them out and get people excited. So the first name, Kazuchika Okada. He is a 3-time winner of the G1 Climax. Second name, Hiroshi Tanahashi, making his 21st entry. And by the way, 21 consecutive entries. So since he started in the G1, he has never missed it. He's won in 2007, 2015, and 2018. Tetsuya Naito, 13th entry. He won in 2013 and 2017. Hiroki Goto making his 15th entry. He won in 2008. And after that, Tama Tonga, Shingo Takagi, Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, Evil, Filthy Tom Lawler, Rock Hard Juice Robinson, Jonah, Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, Jeff Cobb, Great Khan, Will Ospreay, Aaron Hanare, Sanada, Jay White, Kenta, El Phantasmo, Tai Chi, Zack Sabre Jr., Lance Archer, and David Finlay. Where is Kota Ibushi?
Pissed off the last time I heard. He's at home washing his tights the last time I heard.
Well, Kota Ibushi had recently got into a serious conflict with New Japan management that was playing out over Twitter. And Kota Ibushi is serving a pay cut right now, but he's also not been involved in anything. So I guess when everything came down to it, the management that he had a beef with and him were both served a pay cut. And one of the guys in management is getting moved out of a booking position. So a lot of drama there, and it's really hard to get into and understand what exactly happened because of the language barrier that's being played out over Twitter. But that's where Kota Ibushi is, not there.
Yep. He's at home washing his tights. Ryan, we appreciate you filling us in on everything that's been going on. This is more important than ever because of the crossover with AEW. Keep all of our fans not misinformed. This is not misinformation. You know your stuff when it comes to New Japan, and so does Travis. So, but Ryan Joy, we will send you backstage for a little bit. We're going to bring you back in for Slammiversary later on the show. So enjoy get some groceries, show some time to your loved ones.
All right, Gary, try to keep the ratings up. They're skyrocketed right now, just so you know.
As we bring in Gary Mehaffy Milani, top of the evening. How's everything going, pal? How you feeling?
I'm doing okay. Still a little bit sore, but getting there. Nearly sorted.
All right, sounds good. Gary, absolutely incredible women's championship match. I really enjoyed that cover to cover and a really big coming out party for Ivy Nile on Thursday.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I've seen a little bit over in 2.0. And when she had this match, at first I was concerned. I was worried that she would take the title off Mako, but because I didn't think she was the woman to do it. But it was a really good match. A lot of hard hitting, a lot of suplexes, and obviously ending with is it a roll up? Is it not? But
the answer is no. We said no. It was she rolled through it. How about that? It wasn't a roll up. It was a roll through. Ivy had her dead to rights in that dragon sleeper, and Miko couldn't break it. That's the awesome part of this whole. That whole ending was just absolutely incredible. It was just Miko with the experience enough to knowing that she couldn't break that dragon sleeper because Ivy was too strong and she was able to roll through it. And it was an incredible ending with that, and then they both showed respect of each other post-match as well, which was great.
It really was, and I actually think that it's almost a real pity that the NXT UK show isn't going to be seen by more people, because it's a sort of performance and a finish to a match that could really make Ivy Nile. All of a sudden, she's gone from being, you're okay, to being somebody that you go, Mako can't break that. You've got her number, and you go, oh, and it would have really built her. So it was really nice from our point of view to be able to see it, but it's a sort of match I wish that more people could see. So
yeah, and this is they have Peacock. They know what's on Thursdays. I understand 3:00 or I guess on the West Coast is noon. It's a little crazy. You have to probably watch it on replay 9 times out of 10. But as James Wheeler chimed in, he's like, "Oh, I just started watching." It's no bleep. This has been one of the best hours of wrestling of the week, and then one of the hours I look forward to more than anything. And they just let Ivy Nile shine, and Miko Satomura, say what you want with her being champion for as long as whatever, you let the younger go. No, she is putting each and every single one of these girls over and teaching them lessons as they're going along, and she's been an absolutely phenomenal champion.
Yeah, she really has. She's been a credit to the show. It's been superb.
And staying in the women's division, we were just talking about Kyle O'Reilly and the incredible, shocking wins that he has been doing. And then, boom, here comes Eliza Alexander. I don't think Zaya had one little small, she got on the apron, then got put. Whatever. She was not involved in this. I chalked this up as a clean win over a Maul. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it shocked me, say, with the boot to the head, and it was I actually thought the referee was going to get in the way at first, which was quite funny, but there was with the kick to the head and the finish, and it was surprising. And I will say, Zaya Brookside as a character had become really good. Linking her with Eliza, and obviously they both know each other, has been as a really, really good partnership. And you could see them being incredibly annoying in a good way. Yeah. You really could. You could see them becoming a big, big force.
I'm looking forward to those two. Stateside, we have tag titles over here. I don't think you want to do that over in UK, but that's been a shocking win. Good big win for Eliza Alexander. Yeah. Look at that. Symbiosis, they defeated Inaction after their power slam diving headbutt combination. Post-match, Eddie Dennis got a little too froggy, a little too frisky with the celebration. He was trying to take the credit, and they turned on him. He got the power slam headbutt, and then as Symbiosis walks away, the handshake, they parted ways. And now all of a sudden, Symbiosis no more, huh?
Yeah, it was funny actually because I missed it. The match had finished. And I went to do something for 1 minute and came back and went, what? What was on there? How did I miss that? What did I miss?
Yeah.
It's a strange one. I'm sort of surprised in many ways. I think I sort of look at them and think they're well set with Eddie Dennis being there. But what it does give the opportunity for is to then keep building on that, and you can have Eddie Dennis then maybe bringing other people in, and you can start all sort of different layers of feuds. So
yeah, Eddie's going to stick around. Eddie's great as in the managerial role, and obviously when called upon, he can shine in the ring. You know, I think this is a great opportunity for Primate and Boar to get the Hunt back together. You know, they had to split him for injury, and then Tyson T-Bone filled in, and now that Boar's back, and he got his revenge on Eddie Dennis, and Primate's not with it. I think you can get the Hunt back together again. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I like them together.
Yeah.
Mark Coffey has no update on his brother Joe until he literally calls him right then and there. Talk about impeccable timing with this camera crew over at NXT UK. Gary, what are the odds?
I know. Imagine something like that happening on a wrestling show. I'm shocked.
I'm just sitting there like, I got no update on Joel. You know, hold on, my phone's ringing. I'm like, dude, if that's Joe, like, you know, let that be your mom or somebody. Have you seen him talk to, you know, it's anybody else but Joe? Oh, hey, no, I gotta take this out. And then it's Joe. All of a sudden, it's impeccable timing. Mark Andrews defeated Kenny Williams. Tiger Terrain appeared on the ring apron, distracted Kenny, allowing Mark Andrews check one off for the UK. We didn't count Miko, but we're counting Mark Andrews with the Raw roll up on Kenny Cockroach, as John DeConnick likes to call him. Big win for your boy. Nice to see Nice to see Subculture, the other S, Subculture. Get those back things. Hopefully, Flash Morgan Webster's close by. Danny Luna's hopefully back soon.
Yeah, hopefully they are, actually, because that's what I thought was quite interesting when he was coming out with the video at the start of the match. That was the full Subculture video with all three of them coming through, and I thought, okay, they're keeping them in there to let everybody remember that Flash and stuff are there.
Yeah, James, we were just trying. I'm sorry we're a little late with this one, but yeah, it's James, welcome to the wonderful world of NXT UK. And the best part about UK is that you get to hear Gary Mehaffy talk about it afterwards on Tuesdays. There you go. Speaking of, Gary Mehaffy and your favorites, look at Myla Grace stepping up to Lash legend. Gary, they didn't announce it. Probably they're going to fight on Thursday, but Gary, go get them, pal. Go get them.
Tell you what, you can take the girl out of Belfast, but you can't take the Belfast out of the girl. She is gone. When I heard I was just looked up and went, that's Myra. And I thought, and actually what I assume, and I've had a few messages back and forth with her this week, but what I would assume now is obviously the fact that they're giving her interview time would mean that she's going to be a proper focused performer and probably has signed like the full-time contract or whatever. So I was like, I'm so chuffed for her. It's brilliant. And putting her in the Lash is great, and they allowed her to stand up to her. So the only thing would have made the episode better was if Charlie Dempsey was on it too. And then, what can
Charlie
I
Dempsey, Myla Grace. We're just missing Charlie Dempsey. That's the Gary trifecta right there.
I would combust, I think, but.
This week that we know is happening, Trent Seven will address the UK Universe after his loss of the tag team titles and his partnership to Tyler Bate. So maybe some type of announcement there. I say to take over. September's so far away, though. I don't think this would be the place to do it. Unless they do like a series of matches, and then the third one is at a takeover the same weekend as Clash at the Castle. But we do have a match signed. We have Wolfgang and Damon Kemp. Wolfie got Damon Kemp plastered last Thursday. I don't know why they don't do more drinking scenes at NXT UK, but Gary, it just goes to show you that us Americans, we just can't hang with you guys when it comes to pubs and pints. Right, but they, that was the training that Wolfie was giving Damon Kemp. I'm not sure if Damon Kemp will bring that. I'm not sure if Roddy will like Damon Kemp bring that back stateside, but they got Noam Dar and Josh Samuels. Who do you like in this one?
It could actually go both ways. Either you could go, Wolfgang and Damon Kemp will beat them, or if they want to make this storyline part of it where Wolfgang's been taking him out and he's kind of led him astray, and all of a sudden they lose, and then he could turn on him. But I'm gonna stick with the first. I'm gonna stick with Damon Kemp and Wolfgang going over. Unfortunately, I mean, I love obviously Noam, but I'm gonna go with Damon Kemp taking the win.
I'm gonna go with I'm going Dart and Shaw, and just because the odds are in their favor, as Shaw's been pointing out on the east side. But I thought I saw something when I was putting on the cock to watch this, and I don't know if I just missaw the picture that you click on for the episode or whatever. I thought I saw Roddy, and I'm like, maybe it was a past episode, maybe something. If Roddy's still over there, like, or during these tapings, that'd be fun for him to get involved and just have the two, him and Damon, just take out Wolfgang. Yeah. I think that'd be fun to do that. And plus, Ivy's over there, and there's some stuff you can still do. And it all depends on how much these are taped ahead of time. So I don't know how many more weeks they have there. So I'm gonna go with Noam and Shah just to play the odds here, just for fun. Yeah. A couple other things real quick, Gary. We'll let you go. First things first. At this past weekend, as Ryan Joyce said, NWA had their show Always Ready. Harry Smith,
the Stampede
up. Doug Williams, right? Douglas Williams was his partner.
Yeah, it's great to see them. I'm a big fan of Doug. I'm a really big fan of Harry, and I would love to see him used more. And the fact that he's done that, it would be interesting. Obviously, I mean, I know they beat La Rebellion and took the tag titles. I would love to see him in the heavyweight, the NWA heavyweight title mix. I think it would be interesting over the next few months to move him into that as well. So
yeah, the thing with NWA though, their champion right now, like, he's just a physical masterpiece, like the athleticism of Trevor Murdoch. He's good. Obviously, he's trained and he's been around for a while. But he just, you look at Trevor Murdoch and like, I could do this. He's the guy that ruins it. He's the guy that ruins it for all the other guys that put in all the time, like Harry Smith in the gym. Look at Trevor Murdoch as a world champion, and all of a sudden, Joe Schmo, me. I could do that. Speaking of champions, Gary, we have a new Intercontinental champion. Some people say that you can't ever survive a name change. Gunta.
Yeah. Looks an awful lot like Walter, who used to be on NWA or NXT UK for us. It looks very like him.
A little more defined.
It's like Elias and Ezekiel, but
it also he looks a little bit more like what Keith Lee was supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't like Ricochet's chances when I saw the match was announced, but however Vince has got and has talked Gunther or Walter or whatever you want to say into going across the States. He's now really got his hooks into him, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with across there. I can see before the turn of the year, I could see him being right up in the title mix, the heavyweight title mix.
Love to see a good Rumble run out of him. Yeah. Like 6, 7, 8 limbs for like 25, 30 minutes. I think that'd be great. And he signed to Ginny.
There was something the other day. I was sitting there going,
"Come on, she would fit it walking around with Bartel and just being Walter's arm."
Yeah, I could see something happen. I could see her appearing at some point.
It'd be awesome. They really need to bring her over. And she injured. I don't know where she's been off TV for a while. Yeah. And then Gary, last thing, Slammiversary this weekend. 20 years of Impact Wrestling, TNA. Any surprise? I know we were talking about you have this pick for your reverse battle royal winner.
I have 2 picks, as I was saying earlier. I was saying to Ryan, I could never pick against Jordan Grace. It's like putting Drew McIntyre in. I can't pick against him. So have Jordan Grace down to win. But because of this reverse battle royal, right? And the rules are going to be a little bit complex, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
And you either know them or you don't. So those are the sort of rules that you can't teach that. You can't teach those rules. Big Enzo.
Enzo Amore to wow.
Now the big cast
Enzo, yeah.
Now the big cast has gone. We'll bring him in, and Enzo, because you can't teach those rules. He'll be there.
He's a bold pick, yeah. Like I said, I thought he's not even on. He's not on Perros and Pick'em.com, right? Enzo Amore is not on there. I didn't put him on.
I didn't see him, but I'll have another look. I've got time to have a look.
It wouldn't shock me because the site was created, I think, after he was gone. So I think that would make sense that I don't have him there. So I will make sure that it's lowercase n, capital Z, lowercase L, right, Enzo? That's what it is.
That's it.
All right, Gary. We appreciate your time as always and staying up late with us. Thank you very much. Looking forward to talking. Hopefully, a Miley Grace victory next week.
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All right, Gary. Have a great night, pal. As we bring back in John Smith, we bring back in John DeConnie. We make the seamless transition from NXT UK to NXT stateside, and there's a little bit of a setup here. The beginning of NXT. It started with an in-ring promo. Hold on, let me get the nameplates back up there. It is. I'm still slow here. There's an in-ring promo with North American Champion Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. All is right with the world. They were interrupted by Solo Sikoa, who thinks he has next, but the agreement was agreement with Cameron Grimes. So here comes Grayson Waller running his mouth. So Solo Sikoa started swinging at all three of them, and that didn't work out on his favor. Solo Sikoa was taken to the trainer's room. He wants both Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller. He'll go by himself if he has to. So we're seeing it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. My initial thought was, okay, well, just Grimes is going to come out. Grimy was nowhere to be found. We take that and we hit pause right there. Midway through the show, we have an in-ring promo with NXT champion Braun Breaker, who just simply goes out and says, "Who's next?" And here comes Apollo Crews out of nowhere. Apparently, he left his accent on the main roster, which is fine. Apollo answers the bell. They said the former Intercontinental Champion, which I remember. He's like, former United States Champion. I'm like, when was Apollo? That's right. His kids are actually probably still playing with the United States, the real United States Championship. His kids are probably still playing, not MVPs.
That ugly ass.
Anyway, he came out saying he left NXT too soon. So he's back looking to make some history with Braun Breaker rather sooner than later. Then John DeConnie, now we come full circle here for our main event. Here we have the North American Champion. There we had Grayson Waller on one side. Here comes Solo Sikoa.
And Apollo!
Yes.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it sound like I've ever seen a bad Apollo Crews match. But, man, was he reinvigorated in this match. He looked fantastic. He was all over the place. The match went almost 14 minutes. And in the end, we had Waller trying to hit his signature spot. Finds himself outside the ring. Comes running almost all the way from the Tron. Tumbles in. Jumps for the big stunner. And Apollo just kind of continued with his momentum. Got him up in the air. Spun him around. Brought him down in a Blue Thunder bomb and a 1-2-3. For Little Oos and Apollo Crews, and it was a hell of a match. And like I said, Apollo Crews looked like he was very happy to be there.
Yeah, it's okay. So having a main roster cameo. Oh, there we go. Let's put it. Having a main roster cameo on the NXT is good for morale. NXT is perfect for Apollo since Raw had nothing for him. Yeah, I think he was chasing Dana Brooke last week when everyone was freaking out about Becky. Everyone forgot that Apollo Crews was chasing a match. Okay, we'll get to that one, Roxanne. There you go. We'll get to that one, James. They're leading into a 6-man tag. So, yeah, so Apollo Crews is back. No accent, which is fine. We still got that metallic green, I think I saw, at least in the lighting. So, we just keep on going with that. So, welcome back, Apollo Crews. Hopefully he can do something. I don't know if it's just going to be a temporary thing like Dolph Ziggler or Natalya or the Viking Raiders, but see what happens. John Smith, Legado del Biscadish. Legado del Biscadish.
They got to come out to
we saw them working together for the first time. It looks like they were opening the door for Tony D, and Santos was doing this. And Santos was informed that he had to wrestle. He had to compete. NXT against I Spy a Jersey guy, Nathan Frazier.
Yeah, and he came out to the D'Angelo family music too, which was not very nice. Yeah. So we get some nice athleticism from Frazier before Santos takes over the match. he puts on the Boston Crab real nice, a la the model Rick Martel. Then the ref is getting distracted by Legato, and stacks are 2 dimes. One of them slides in the crowbar perfectly. It stopped right in front of Santos' face.
Yep.
It was as if it was scripted in a movie or something. It was perfect. And Santos looks at it, and then he slides it back, and he pockets it. And
the slide back was good too.
The slide back was good, and the discreet put it right back by his hip was good too. But the distraction caused Santos to get hit with the Phoenix Splash from Nathan Fraser. He was able to take over the match and get the 1-2-3. So Santos is now starting a losing streak now that he's part of the family.
And then Tony D on commentary. All you had to do was use the bar. It was right there. Whatever the Italian accent. All you had to do was use the bar. What a moron. I believe he called him a moron. What a moron. And then later on, there was an interesting backstage discussion with Tony D and Carmelo Hayes on Hayes' way to the ring for his match. It seems like if everyone just stays away from each other, that was fine. That was a random conversation. I see you, I see you. Okay, we'll just stay away from each other. Okay, let's just stay away from each other. That was weird. It was interesting to see where we go with that. Tia Hall received her certificate of acceptance from Chase U. They went to take a photo, but they got interrupted by Pretty Deadly. Some words were exchanged, and it looked like a match would happen at some point. Later on, Bodie Hayward was jumped in the back by Pretty Deadly, which fired up Andre Chase. I'm going to whoop their asses, Johnson.
Oh, and he did for a good minute and a half. He was Hulk Hogan for a good minute and a half out there, man. Just 1-on-2, destroying them. And then the numbers caught up. And then you see Bodie Hayward crawling out to the ring trying to be his partner. And then Thea Hale comes out and says, and he convinces her to go up there. She gets all but one slap in on one of the Yes Boys, and they end up hitting spilt milk, right? Spilled milk.
Yep.
On Andre Chase for the 1-2-3, and Thea never even got tagged in, but the crowd popped for her, so I think they got something good with her.
Yeah. Those tasty snacks, though. Pretty Deadly. Those tasty snacks.
Well, she's a tasty snack too.
She's what? Yeah. She's graduated high school.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if that's even true or not. I gotta look her up. Josh Briggs, he defeated Von Wagner, John DeConnie. Upsets all over the place. Kyle O'Reilly winning Battle Royal. He's not supposed to. As they talked about Gary Eliza Alexander with a huge win over them all.
Yeah, so we had Briggs and Wagner set up by the fact, obviously, that Wagner hurt Briggs' buddy Jensen, and Jensen made his way out to ringside, and he's there, and he's in his air cast, if you will. And Wagner, at one point in the match, slides out just to basically crack him across the face and slide back in. Jensen hadn't gotten involved. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't even antagonizing Wagner. And Wagner just took a cheap shot. So as he's climbing back in, and the ref's kind of looking at Wagner what are you doing? Get back in here, blah, blah, blah. Jensen says, all right, you want to play a game like that? He slides his cast off, which apparently he doesn't really even need anymore. He slides it into his partner, Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs uses it to crack Wagner across the head. He follows up with a big old clothesline and gets the 1-2-3, and Josh Briggs goes over Von Smash.
And Cowboy Bob Orton smiles. Yeah, I think they just pissed off on though. I think the two of them or the three of them, what's her face? Sophia Cromwell. She's gonna, take something out on Fallon, but I think those guys are in trouble. I think Briggs and Jensen are gonna get tossed into tables and cryovans. Son of a Beverly. Alba Fire defeated Tatum Paxley after a gory bomb into a swanton in which Tatum rolled away, thinking she was clear from from harm's way, but Alba was able to jump halfway across the ring and hit the Swanton. That was actually impressive. Very good. Impressive by our forever champion. Handshake, show of respect by Alba post-match to Tatum. Alba proceeded to get booted in the face by Lash Legend on her way back up the entranceway. So Alba Fire, Lash Legend, that continues. But it looks like Alba Fire's got a companion going forward to Tatum. As we go forward into this week's action, to tonight's action. Tonight's Tuesday. They did a backstage interview with Zion Quinn. Wesley got lucky in their first match, which is a Raw roll-up victory by Wesley. One of the few that NXT 2.0 has. So they're going to get at it tonight. I do not think this is hair versus hair, but let's do that. John LeConnie, let John Smith catch himself, and then we'll go from there. John LeConnie.
50-50 booking usually, but I think for some reason I see Wesley winning this one again.
He's going to roll him up again, you think? You're going to roll him up again?
Why not? The last time he administered absolutely zero offense, he just kind of caught him coming across the ring, grabbed him around the waist, spun him around, and boom, right into the roll-up. Why can't he do that again? Make Zion's head explode.
It's the Raw is strong him, Wesley. That's it. You get your ass kicked, and all you just do is a twisty roll-up. John Smith.
I'm thinking Wesley also, but maybe with like a count-out victory.
Okay. I like that. I said he's got not Satnam Singh. What's their guy's name? Wesley's got a new friend. I can't think of his name. I don't know why.
Oh, Senga?
Senga. Yeah, Senga Singh. Is his last name Singh too? Should be. I don't mean to be stereotypical here. Not all Hindi people are last name Singh. There's about 7 of them in professional wrestling right now. So
it's Sangha Gujar.
There you go. We need less Sings, more Poopinders.
Hell yeah.
Joe Gacy is now turning his attention to his druids. They're calling them the Dyad. They make sure that they are guided correctly. They have their first tonight versus in action. Obviously, there's no reason why for them to lose, but I guess are they supposed to be anybody, or is we just 2 guys and whatever? I guess we'll find out. Giovanni Vinci, another guy. Giovanni Vinci, Fabian Eicher, repackaged, re-debuts. Glad they're doing something with him. Thank God he didn't get lost in that Imperium Shuffle. Got worried when he didn't go up with him, but he will be around. As James Wheeler commented, we'll put it right back up now. Match. The women's breakout tournament final. Great job by Roxanne, especially Tiffany. These women are going to continue to build the future every day. Roxanne Perez, she won the tournament. She got the win after Pop Rocks to win the breakout tournament. In-ring celebration with Cora Jade was short-lived as Toxic Attraction appeared with Mandy telling Roxy to enjoy this moment because it's all downhill from here. A brawl ensued with the 5 of them as Indy Hartwell joined the brawl as well. So we have 6-on-6 going. I'm sorry, 6-woman tag, 3-on-3 tonight. Fun little thing at the end of that brawl. How about Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez with a Young Bucks super kick party on somebody? They hit the stereo super kicks. I'm like, all right, we got some female Bucks here, John Smith.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the champs losing this one. I think if they're gonna lose something, that this is the match to lose because the titles aren't on the line.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, Indy Hartwell jumps back in. We don't know where they're going to go here. Roxy doesn't have to use that contract on the women's title. Carmelo Hayes just proved that. He went for the North American title to stay away, I believe, from Samoa Joe. Is that, smart move by him, but John LeConnie.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I could absolutely see Cora and Roxy going after the tag titles. I don't know who's ever going to take down Mandy at this point. But in this 3-on-3, give me the good guys to take it, Indy and Cora and Roxy, because Toxic only makes sure that they win when the titles are on the line.
There was a backstage interview after the match. There was a backstage interview with Wendy Chu after the match. She wasn't involved in the match, but she was interrupted by an irate Tiffany Stratton, who ended up getting an orange drink. I believe that was orange drink, thrown in her face by Wendy for the interruption. So we could potentially have Tiffany Stratton and Wendy Chu tonight. Hope any picks on that one if that happens, John Smith?
I think Wendy Chu cheats to win. It really pisses off Tiffany.
John Conn.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Give me Wendy Chu in that one as well.
Yeah, right. Then Diamond Line, they seemingly hugged out their problems. Roddy was proud of the Creeds for winning the titles. In come Aegis and Offie and Malik Blade, who received some props by the Creeds for their support of them. They actually granted Mehaffy and Blade a tag team championship match. And Roddy did not like that. So, was it you get one mistake as champions? Roddy was going to give him one mistake as champion, and they just used it already, John DeConnie.
Yeah, Roddy was, he was the big brother that you expect him to be, patting him on the back, good job, and then immediately went right back to being a D-hole. I think the Creeds most definitely retain here, but I think we get a really good match out of Mehaffy and Blade.
John Smith.
Possible Leon Ruff situation here?
Potentially, yeah.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Creed's take it.
Okay. Yeah, Creed. All this work to get the belts on them, not going to take them off right away.
Remember when Johnny spun the wheel and it was weighted and to come up with Leon Ruff and he ended up losing to him?
Yeah, that was that whole. And then when Ruff won it, the belt was too big for him. Priest put it on too thick,
it fell down to his ankles. Yeah.
See, NXT was so good. Still is, right? John Smith still is. Okay, so we're going to switch from NXT to About Last Night. They did a backstage interview with Seth Rollins, John DeConnie, taking pride with his attack on Cody last week, has his eyes on Money in the Bank. And AJ Styles sucker punched him backstage. Styles looks motivated, and they had a qualifying match. Like, damn it, man! Like, again, why weren't these two just put them both in it? Like,
I know this is I hate when you see a qualifier and you say to yourself, like, no, I want both of them in there. Why are you doing this to me?
Well, not even that. How about this? Just put them both in a match on the show. Like, just let them go one-on-one. Like, this is, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So these two gave you exactly what you expect out of them for 15 minutes. A match to steal Monday Night Raw. In the end, AJ had Seth kind of draped over him. He was going for the Styles Clash. Seth kind of got out of it with a backdrop. AJ tried the roll-up from underneath, and instead Seth just sat right down, and cha-ching, we get a Raw roll-up, and Seth moves on to the Money in the Bank ladder match.
And that's number 30 for Raw. That's a milestone Raw roll-up right there. That is number 30 for Monday Night Raw. 6 months in, we're 5 and a half months in. We're almost coming up on the halfway point on the calendar for the Raw roll-ups. So, the show started with Miz TV with Paul Heyman talking about Friday night's title match, interrupted by Riddle, which nobody liked. Out came the Usos to attack Riddle, but it was thwarted by the Street Profits, so a match came of it, John Connie.
Yeah, we went to commercial, we came back, and it's Jimmy Uso versus Montez Ford. And once again, we've seen this tag team match a bunch of times, and it's always been great. And when they break them up into singles, it's still pretty damn good. And we got 13 minutes out of these guys all over the place, amazing athleticism. And we got kind of not a letdown of an ending, but no particular move for it, because Ford went for the From the Heaven Splash. Jimmy got the knees up, and, Ford landed so ugly that all Jimmy had to do was kind of roll over, hook a leg, and 1, 2, 3. Jimmy Uso gets the win over Montez Ford.
Well, that's why Gorilla Monsoon used to say there's a high-risk maneuvers.
Absolutely.
It's high risk, high reward, but if you crash and burn. John Smith, continuing from what happened on Miz TV, Riddle, he was in a match, Miz on commentary against Ciampa.
Yeah, and that kind of ruined it because Ciampa had really put on a showing for a good 5 minutes there. You know, like that he really shined in this match with Riddle. He was able to do some innovative stuff. You know, show what he did in NXT. He was stomping on Riddle's feet. He spiked Riddle's toe, like big toe first into the mat. That like a foot DDT. It was pretty cool. Yeah, and Miz wouldn't shut up about himself the whole time, which sucked. But you know, we all knew what was going to end up happening at the end of this. Riddle was going to go over because he's getting the push towards that world title match. So Ciampa loses to an RKO after a good showing, but just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I wrote down Ciampa doing okay right now. Looking forward till perhaps after Money in the Bank or after SummerSlam, where if he gets through these little side segments, I think he's proving enough in these side segments. Okay, let's get him going in a feud now. So I think Ciampa's actually going to be okay in the long run.
I think Judgment Day would be a good way to get him more TV time.
Yeah, yes it would. Yes it would. The show main evented with a pose down a la Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior way back in the '89 Royal Rumble. Pose down with Lashley and Theory. Once Theory saw that he was losing, he shot baby oil in Lashley's eyes, blinding him, and then drop kicking out of the ring. Then took selfies from the podium. There was an in-ring promo early in the night with Bianca Belair. Says she just doesn't recognize Rhea since Rhea joined the Judgment Day. Judgment Day appeared on the Titantron. Doesn't sound like they're taking any more applications at the moment. They're done playing nice. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. Yada yada yada. They just spit out every single heel.
And they're all equals.
Yep. Veer Mahan, PWI Wrestler of the Year, versus he defeated Rey Mysterio with the cervix clutch. The Mysterios are having a hard time getting some offense in on Veer, so I think when this actually does come down to a 2-on-1 handicap match, hopefully with two of them, you know, at once, maybe just get some type of offense in because Veer just seems to be indestructible at the moment. MVP, who did Cedric Alexander piss off? MVP defeated Cedric Alexander. What was the time on that, John McConney? A minute and a half?
Yeah, 141.
Jesus Christ. Cedric, the funny thing was about that, MVP went for the bull in, right? The elbow drop. Cedric Alexander kicked out, which prompted Jimmy on commentary, Jimmy Smith, saying, Cedric still has plenty of fight left in him. MVP immediately hits the play of the day or the playmaker or whatever his finisher move is right then and there and drops him for 3. I'm like, good call, Jimmy. Good work. Chad Gable defeated Mustafa Ali after impressive. Well, so we know who Mustafa Ali pissed off. He just thought maybe he was done with his punishment. I would have taken Ali. I'm like, okay, he got his comeuppance at what was the last pay-per-view called? Hell in the Cell. And apparently not. Chad Gable. Here's another match I wish we would have had on 205 Live. First of all, Chad Gable should have been on 205 Live and from the get-go and just schooled everybody on that show. Like, he would have been an amazing Cruiserweight champion. I think he was on for one episode, and I don't think I've ever been more excited anything Cruiserweight in my entire life, and then just nothing came of it. I did the roll-through German suplex, kept Ali down for the 3. We had the rematch with Ezekiel and Kevin Owens. Ezekiel got the win via countout after KO overheard Byram calling him Ezekiel. So Owens had, any chance Kevin Owens has to yell at Byron Saxton, he's going to do it. Especially now since he's a little unstable. And then he jumped up on the announce table yelling at him. And Mrs. Ruff counted 10 while Ezekiel stuck back in the ring. So Ezekiel won by countout, prompting Zeke to get on the microphone saying that he talked to Elias, his older brother, and he's Elias is all zeked out about the Money in the Bank that we're going to get an Elias concert next week. And if Ezekiel comes out with a fake beard, I do believe somebody's getting bonus points for calling that a couple weeks ago. So let's see what's on that. Kevin Owens again on the verge of insanity. And the women's Money in the Bank qualifiers, we had a qualifying tag team match. Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan defeated Nikki Ash and Doudrop after a spike DDT by Bliss onto Nikki. And then we're going to have, so that's 3 women now. We'll get to the third one once we get to SmackDown next. Alexa Bliss is in. Liv Morgan's in. Earlier in the night, Becky Lynch is completely snapped. She was supposed to have a match with Dana Brooke again, but beat the snot out of her before the bell rang and the match never happened. Now she's focused on Money in the Bank. Out comes Asuka. and a brawl breaks out. Loving the grudge feud here. Now we got some stakes on the line, though. They're gonna get at it next Monday night. Winner is going to qualify for Money in the Bank. Loser will probably show up during Money in the Bank and take out the winner, I guess. I don't know. I just don't see this feud ending, John Smith. And I'm loving it. I'm loving a non-title grudge feud with these two.
Yeah, it's fun. Asuka deserves that title, though, so I'm going to go with her. And I want her winning the Money in the Bank again.
Yeah, if Asuka wins Money in the Bank, she's going to join a very illustrious club of two-time winners. I believe CM Punk and Carmella are the only two-time winners, right?
Oh, yeah, Carmella. I forgot about her, yeah.
Technically.
No, there was two separate
matches in 5 days. Like, that's impressive. John DeConnie, who do you got qualifying?
Yeah, I feel like Becky winds up, holding the ropes or something like that to get the pin, and that's what brings Asuka out to screw her over in the Money in the Bank match. So give me Big Time Bex.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Big Time Bex with this one too. John Smith, as we go over to SmackDown, layeth the smacketh down on your Rudy Poo candy ass. Name changes. People can't survive them, right?
No, definitely not. Except for Gunther.
And Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, I still can't remember his name, but I mean, he'll always be Walter to me. But you know what? I'll roll with it. It's Gunther. I'll be calling him Gunther from now on, not Gunther. But the story of this match was Ricochet getting a few moves in and then getting smacked down, like Walter, like Gunther didn't even feel it. Until the end of the match, it was just like 3 shots from Ricochet, boom, down on the ground, rest hold, boom, boom, and then Ricochet goes off with a few high flying moves at the end. Gunther rolls away from Ricochet's finisher, but he also rolls through, bounces off the corner, does a double front drop kick to Gunther, who then does the same exact double front drop kick to Ricochet. He goes flying towards the corner, and Walter just goes and drags him up, power bomb, fold him in half, 1, 2, 3, and we got your new Intercontinental Champion, the man who will bring prestige back to this belt that hasn't been defended on pay-per-view in over a year and a half.
And that's exactly my notes. That's my notes. Run this back at Money in the Bank and give these two a pay-per-view match for the title. Give Ricochet a rematch. Let him have it. Money in the Bank would be absolutely incredible. So the mid-card champion Death Wish list, that's one. Ricochet had a Death Wish. Walter granted it. Gunther granted it. Scorpio Sky might have one that Wardlow would grant. And I just saw a theory. He just shot goo in Lashley's eyes, which apparently stings. For MVP's U.S. title. So the mid-card champion Death Wish list. Not look good. They did have a Money in the Bank qualifying list match, on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus ended in a double count out with both guys brawling on the outside. So nobody qualified. Drew went back to Postman Pierce, the man that he put in despite not winning. Sheamus did the same thing. Pierce has a lot to process. And the other qualifying match for the women's side, Lacey Evans, she qualified by defeating Xia Li with the women's right. So now we've got Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan all. As I said, James Wheeler brought up earlier, 7 people. I know, John DeConno, we had the discussion. Normally it's 6. There's 7 spots on the graphic. I know, John, you read rumors that there are 8 potentially. Yeah. So who knows? I guess we'll see what happens. It's not our job to spread misinformation, but I think it should be. John DeConnie with an in-ring promo with our champion Ronda Rousey saying her armbar is far superior than Natty's sharpshooter. Interrupted by Shotzi, who wants a fight, so Ronda obliged.
Yeah, and, if you would have told me to put money on this, I would have told you it was going to be a, sub 2-minute squash. But Shotzi, I want to say held her own because she didn't get a whole lot of offense in, but this one went almost 7.5 minutes. It ended just how you figure, Piper's Pit, armbar submission. But once again, another ladies match that's more about the post-match shenanigans than it is about the actual in-ring stuff. Because Natalya would attack Ronda, put her in the sharpshooter, lean way, way back. Ronda's screaming as the segment ends. And we got a later shot outside of the training room where it was discussed that Ronda suffered a severe injury and her Money in the Bank availability is in question.
Yeah, I have that on my notes too. Great showing by Shotzi. She signed just the same thing I said about Ciampa. She shined recently with her promos and her ring work. I hope WWE notices. So much for a cheap imitation sharpshooter that Natty put on her, huh? Ronda kind of bit her in the ass. John Cena continues to be the greatest person on the planet. An amazing story and effort by John. Looking forward to seeing him on June 27th on Raw to celebrate 20 years of his career and hopefully set up a match at SummerSlam, most likely against Theory, since Theory has been talking a lot of trash to John Cena via Twitter. Paul Heyman approached Sami Zayn. So they had Sami Zayn before his match. And he wasn't sure that's, but Sami realized the position he put himself in. I guess I got my order mixed up there. Anyway, so we'll get back to that in a second. Max Dupree. Apparently, Max Dupree forgot to give us his first client last week, so we're going to do that again. Also announced a last laugh match. Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, John Smith. Tough to beat a guy 3 times in the same season.
What is a last laugh match?
I don't know.
Does that mean it's the last time these two will fight?
Probably. Well, it says the trifecta, right?
Yeah, give me Madcap.
John Connie.
Yeah, I mean, unless we find out this is some kind of gimmick weapons match, then give me Madcap and Benoit.
Okay, now back to the Riddle. So Riddle, Sami Zayn, they had a match. The main event is SmackDown, where if Riddle won, Riddle gets a championship match against Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman pulls Sami's side in the back before the match. Like, you realize the position you put yourself in. And like, Sandy, you win this match, like you win our graces, but right now you have a serious problem if you lose. Which is what happened. Riddle defeated Sami Zayn after Sami went for a haluva kick, and Riddle turned it into an RKO out of nowhere. Earned a title shot against Roman Reigns next week. Sami is in serious trouble with the Tribal Chief. Post-match attack by the Usos on Riddle, turning to Riddle, hitting them with kendo sticks and standing tall at the end. Our Tribal Chief not happy at the moment. Now he has to jump on his private jet, leave his private yacht, leave his private island just to smash this idiot. Hashtag Tribal Chief problems. So this is where we're at. The first ever unification, undisputed title defense by Roman Reigns. How Riddle going to get this done, John Smith? All the people that Roman Reigns has beat. Riddle's going to be the guy.
Not a chance. This should be a good match, a good 20-minute, barn burner. But I'm looking at a clean win by Roman. He should not have to have the Usos interfere to beat Riddle.
John Connie.
I agree he won't have to have the Usos interfere to beat Riddle, but I think that probably comes at Money in the Bank. I'm thinking this one is some kind of no contest, schmaz, interference, blah, 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 that gives Riddle the reason to demand a rematch, and then we get that at Money in the Bank.
I should have mentioned this. On Raw last night, they did state that the stipulation was added that if Riddle loses, he can't challenge. So, but if Riddle wins by disqualification, yeah, he can push this towards Money in the Bank. Or I don't know how long Randy's going to be out for, but I know Roman and Randy's probably the next huge program for SummerSlam. I don't know if I'm going to push that button yet, but I just think Riddle's going to get destroyed at some point in time during this. And then plus Riddle's got this whole thing with The Miz going on Raw, so who knows if Miz is going to be lurking around to promote, Miz and Mrs. on Fox, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
If he brings Maurice in that Sandy from Grease outfit, then we will all welcome him with open arms.
Wow, look at them. All right, so that will do it for SmackDown. We are going to bring back in Ryan Joy from minutestobelltime.com. Ryan, how's everything going? Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Let's get everything situated here and set up for the 20th anniversary of Total Nonstop Action Impact Wrestling. Oh, the memories of yesteryear. I still remember John DeConnie watching back in 2002. We had living in Summit, New Jersey with my brother. And your brother, Chris, would stop by on Wednesday nights. We had the illegal black cable box that was left to us in our apartment. And we on Wednesday nights, I think the first match, the Flying Elvises, we were introduced to. Sonny Siaki, Jorge Estrada, and Jimmy Yang. I think Jimmy Yang was a Flying Elvis against AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, and I think like Amazing Red or something like that. The Flying Elvises kicked off, and now 20 years later, here we are discussing a pretty huge Impact pay-per-view event. Not Impact Plus. This is a pay-per-view event. So we'll go to here are our overall standings going into the show. Ryan Joy, 20-point lead on John DeConnie, 22-point lead on Travis, and then a trickle the drizzling bleeps from there with me, Gary, and John Smith. Travis has the Impact lead right now, tearing it up 11-4 with 75 points. Ryan Joy about, what was that, 11? That's 11 points? Yeah, 11 points behind John DeConnie, 10 behind them. Here's our scoring going into Slammiversary. 15 points for the Impact title, 9 for all other. 3 points for non-title matches. We have one interpromotional contest. That will get a 3-point bump. The 2 matches on the Countdown show will count because this is a major show for Impact Wrestling. If you get everything heading, you will get a bonus 15 points. There's going to be, again, a lot of gimmick matches. We'll be hitting that button pretty hard, John DeConnie. Before we get into Slammiversary, I guess John DeConnie, I'll throw this to you. We didn't talk about this pre-production, but Macklin versus PCO last Thursday. Holy crap! That was a pay-per-view quality match, and like PCO, what the hell? They beat the crap out of each other. That was one of the most amazing things I've seen on Impact Wrestling. Wrestling-wise, obviously, Wrestling House takes everything, but wrestling-wise, holy crap!
Yeah, that was just, it almost felt like a 25-minute match. It was only about 13. But PCO, you picked a really good time to pull out the gimmick that I guess he's double jointed in his collarbone.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this an Alexa Bliss situation? Like,
somebody said that, I think, in the discussion thread. I think it might have been Andre saying, he's double jointed, so that's what because Macklin kind of stuffed his arm behind the ring step and then drop kicked them into the ring post. And it's one of those things where you see that spot, you've seen it before, you've seen other versions of it, you've seen the slingshot under the ring to kind of like metal under the ring, and you say to yourself, like, how do they pull that off without hurting themselves? And in this instance, he drop kicks those steps. PCO comes up, and his collarbone's like up here, pointing over his shoulder, and it was like, oh, dear. It was a hell of a match.
And then he was bleeding from the mouth because of the Tope Supercena that he missed, and he face planted onto the ground, so his mouth was bleeding. Like he was just the guy is a legitimate absolute like everything just came up PCO during that match. It was just absolutely amazing show. And so staying with him because we're gonna go with the 10-man tag first. There was a medical update on Rhino provided by Heath. Surgery was needed. Rhino could be out for months. Heath is motivated now to fight Honor No More. There was a tag team match with Honor No More against the Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. Honor No More with the win after Eddie Edwards hit the Die Hard driver on Chris Sabin. Post-match beatdown by Honor No More was thwarted by a pissed-off Heath. But then he was thwarted by Kenny King and Vincent. It was a 5-on Heath. He suffered the same fate as Rhino with his knee getting destroyed by chairs at the hands of Honor No More. So I feel like Heath has just kind of figured himself out of this equation. We have a 5-on-5 match. Looks like it's going to be just a legitimate tag team match for the time being. We have Honor No More minus Kenny King. So those 5, that team is set. The Machine Guns and Kazarian I guess this makes this two. Whatever. Team Impact. They still have 2 spots to fill. So, John DeConnie, as our senior Impact correspondent and historian, Demore said you can pick any 2 guys you want. They just got to be Impact alumni. So, who are we thinking here?
I don't know if it's as easy as the fact that we got a little hint a couple weeks ago when Chris Harris showed up backstage. They could go and they could grab someone who was a world champion here, someone who was a world champion there, and just throw them in the match and make it an all-star match. But wouldn't it just be amazing if the 2 spots that were left over went to America's Most Wanted, and you bring back in? Yep. You got James, you got Harrison there, and we know James Storm is still doing his thing, so why not, right?
All right, so who would you pick? So you're picking Team Impact. Ryan Joy.
Gosh, yeah, I think the part of these 2 guys that they don't have identified yet, I'm going to go with Team Impact. I think those guys will make the difference.
The two special guys. All right, John Smith.
I'm gonna go with Honor No More on this one.
Okay. I'm gonna take Team Impact. If it wasn't the 20th anniversary, I probably would take Honor No More. But I think you got to let Team Impact win this. As far as the 2 guys go, did I see something about aces and eights a couple of weeks ago? Is Garrett Bischoff and whoever the other guy was, and D'Lo Brown.
Oh yeah,
aces and eights.
I saw something about that too. You're right.
I think aces and eights is the answer here, unfortunately. And I think that's going to be kind of a letdown. I think they're coming out on Thursday to announce. I think we're going to find out if it's them or not. But I think I read something. I remember seeing D'Lo. I'm like, good for D'Lo. I just didn't think it would be this. But
if you give me 2 pinnable guys on Thursday, then we're going to have to reevaluate.
Yeah, all right. In singles competition, Rosemary defeated Tennille Dashwood after Rosemary ran Tennille into Madison, who was on the apron, and then rolled her up for the win. Check one off for Impact. Post-match attack by the Influence, which was thwarted by Taya Valkyrie, and the Influence is in trouble at Slammiversary because the last time these 2 were together, somebody got shot. John Smith.
This is at the pay-per-view, or is this Thursday?
This is at the pay-per-view. Yep.
Yeah, give me Valkyrie and Rosemary.
Ryan Joy.
I think first of all, love to see Taya and Rosemary back together. Love that.
Yeah.
I think Taya's.
I think everybody else does.
What's that?
Bravo probably doesn't, but I think everybody else probably does.
Yeah. I think Taya's very busy though. She's a little bit of everywhere. She'll be on NWA Power tonight, so I think that they're probably going to keep the titles on the Influence.
John DeConnie.
Yeah, I keep betting against the Influence, and they keep just beating me. So I'm going to say that they let Rosemary, because it was a very uneasy meet after the match. They kind of were face to face, and they didn't exactly hug. There was some spoken words that were off mic, so we don't know exactly what was said, other than I think Rosemary at the end just said thank you before bouncing. So I'm going to say that it's just as easy for those 2 to turn on each other in the middle of that tag match. Give me the Influence retaining.
Havoc somewhere might get involved in this as well. We haven't seen Havoc since that loss to Masha Slamovich. That's, I wouldn't say it's a shocking loss, but the fact that Masha hit a snowplow on Havoc was pretty incredible. I can't. I don't want to bet against the Influence, and I'm going to be rooting for the Influence. But Rosemary and Taya back together. I think this is just too new, too fresh. I'm gonna go with the title change on here. I have probably more defenses than title changes, so I'm gonna have this as one of my title changes. Matt Cardona, who was in possession of the Digital Media Championship, obviously as we discussed, he wasn't at NWA. He's dealing with a torn bicep. So he passed the belt off to his best friend, Brian Myers, and it will be Brian Myers fighting, I guess, Rich Swann is the digital media champion. So Swann is defending the title, but Brian Myers is defending having the title on behalf of Matt Cardona. So they call it major players. They're having fun here. But this match, you have to try to find it. It is on the Countdown Show on digital media. So staying true to form. Digital Media Championship, Ryan Joy, is being defended on digital media.
Man, I don't care. Let's see. I feel like this is it'll be better on Brian Myers long term, so I'm going to go there.
John DeConnie.
I'm going to say Swann retains, even though Myers is the one who's going to be carrying the belt to the ring, just because I don't know why they put it on Swann to begin with. But if that's the case, you might as well leave it on him for a little while and then maybe let Cardona take it back when he's healthy. I don't know. Give me Swann retaining.
All right. John Smith.
All right.
Yeah, I just don't like that this is a countdown match.
This match would be good. This match is not,
I think it deserves to be on the main show, though. But yeah, I got Rich Swann.
Yeah, I'm not betting again, Rich Swann. I just think Rich Swann does no wrong ever since that Kenny Omega match. To me, that was Slammer. Was that Slammer? It wasn't Slammer.
No, it was the was it Hard to Kill?
Yeah. Now we have the reverse battle royal. So they announced this, I think yesterday, the reverse battle royal. That I said, Gary, for those of you scoring at home that like your Gary Mehaffy type of his flavor of picks, going with Enzo Amore, Enzo. So that's one thing. So I don't know if this is not official, because when you see the graph, you're going to see it was from Bound for Glory, I think back in like 2007. It was the third installment. They've done this before. The reverse battle royal is you got to fight your way into the ring. And I guess the first half or 50% of the wrestlers who were involved in this, they get into the ring. Then everybody else is eliminated. Now you got to throw guys over the top rope until, Impact style, Gauntlet style, whatever, until it's down to the final two. And then it's a singles contest. It's 1-on-1. So we had no idea who's in this. There we go, John DeConnie. We're pressing the button hard on this one with the reverse battle royal. But they're going through all the fun stuff on their 20th anniversary. So if you have a reverse battle royal in your back pocket, might as well play that card. It's been a while. The winner of this match at Bound for Glory was Eric Young. He pinned Bobby Roode at the end. Their post Team Canada days. So Eric Young, that won't be the last time we mention his name. John Smith. Gary's picking Enzo Amore.
Johnny Swinger? No.
Swingman.
No. I don't know. The only name that really stuck out in my head is Rhino, because he wins everything at these pay-per-views. So I think
Rhino's out with surgery.
Bad pick.
He's like out. There's no possible way he can come back.
I know he said he was having surgery. So I mean, unless Al Snow was performing it with straw and a pencil, I believe the last thing that Al Snow used. Times were different back in 1984, though.
Come back to me.
All right, John DeConnie, you got a guy in mind?
Yeah, I whittled it down to two, figuring if somebody else took one of these, I would just go with the other one just for fun. I'm stuck between Macklin, who I think would be a really good pick, but I think I'm going to go with Bhupinder Gujjar.
Wow. I like that.
I mean, we know is someone getting a title shot out of this? Is it just them pushing the gimmick button?
I think they're just. I didn't see anything in the graphic on Twitter that this was for anything. The one at Bound for Glory, this was the first leg of a tournament to get a title shot. I guess the order of elimination in that battle royal determined the seeding for a tournament. So Eric Young got the 1 seed. The first person eliminated from that battle royal, who was Junior Fatu, aka Rikishi. So Rikishi was the ace, and Eric Young, I believe, got squashed in that match, if I remember correctly. Anyway, but Ryan Joy. I don't know if anything's on the line. I don't think there's any stakes.
I'm picking Johnny Elite or Johnny Impact. Sorry.
Johnny Impact.
Johnny Impact. That's who I'm going to lean into on this. Yep.
I didn't see any Johnny Elite is all elite graphics, so I don't know if he's on the contract. So that might be not that it matters anyway because Frankie's over there. But
yeah,
that's
my pick. Johnny Impact.
John Smith.
I'm gonna go with Chris Bay. He's not injured, is he?
No, he's good.
All right.
Chris Bay. John DeConnie half stole my pick. He didn't say it for this match, but he said it for Team Impact. Cowboy James Storm. I'm going to think James Storm. 20th anniversary. Rohit Raju. CM Punk.
Storm came back.
That's who I thought you were going.
CM Punk or Rohit?
Rohit.
I miss him so much.
Skinned Manimal.
The Mocha Skin Man, that's it. Alex Zane from New Japan Pro Wrestling was announced as the 6th participant in Ultimate X after he was attacked overseas by the new member of the Bullet Club, Ace Austin. This Thursday, we're going to have Trey Miguel and Speedball Mike Bailey, who's not pictured here, unfortunately. But if you want to see, Mike Bailey, I don't know if I keep on, if I've said this before or whatever. Speedball Mike Bailey, the way he looks and the way the karate, he looks like what Eric Bischoff should have been as a professional wrestler. If Bischoff was a wrestler back in his heyday, that's Mike Ball. That's Mike Ball Speed Bailey. There you go.
Mike
Ball Speed Bailey. Needless to say, I don't think I'm getting any professional contracts anytime soon with my dyslexia. I got Ace Austin. I spy Jersey guy, Ryan Joy.
Yeah, Ace Austin retains. New member of the Bullet Club, I think. I'm picking Ace Austin to retain. After all, John DeConnie, it is the year of Ace Austin, still, isn't it?
It is the year of Ace Austin for the 3rd year in a row, I believe, John DeConnie, correct?
One of these years will be
the
right.
longest year in that man's life. I'm going to go with since he doesn't have to eat a pin here to lose, I'm going to say that this is finally the crowning of what are we calling him? Mike Ball Speed Bailey? A new nickname is born. And a new X Division champ.
Shout out to Jack Evans also. I was excited about him being in this match from anyway. John Smith. I'm so happy Jack Evans is gonna be around.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with John here. I'm gonna go with Ballsack.
Ball speed Bailey?
Ball speed, sorry.
Ball speed, yes, ball speed. The Good Brothers went to the infamous Briscoe Chicken Farm in a fun segment, ran into Papa Briscoe, who was ready to fight, but them boys showed up, and they and the brawl ensued. Fun farm fighting. That's a little alliteration for you. Not as good as Deanna and Mickey, but still some good fun farm fighting. This Thursday, the Briscoes in a non-title fight. They're going up against fellow Bullet Club members. Jay White, the new NJWP, IWGP, champion, and Chris Bay, representing the Bullet Club. So, but it's going to be the Briscoes. It's going to be the Good Brothers. Like I said, the Good Brothers, they drilled it into everybody's head 2 weeks ago, not last week, but the week prior, that they beat the Briscoes at the Multiverse of Matches. Brian Joy.
Man, it's interesting. Is Quick Karl, Machine Gun Karl Anderson going to be a champ here? I mean,
possibly
holding a singles belt and a tag belt. I'm going to pick the Briscoes to retain. I think that's the safer bet. I think I don't think the Impact tag team titles will be traveling all over the world here. So
again,
yeah.
John Smith.
Yeah, that sounds all right to me. Sorry, Sex Ferguson.
John DeConnie.
This would be so much easier to pick if I had a clue how long the Briscoes plan to stay around for. Like, that's the thing that makes me nervous. I would assume that they're going to retain here. Then I get a little nervous. They're not going to be around that often, so they got to put them right back on the Good Brothers. But I'm going to go with the Briscoes retaining here because I think it's the safer bet.
I just think the fact that this is the buyback, like this is like, I don't say the 50-50 book thing, but the fact that Karl Anderson was just driving it into the ground that they won back in April. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Briscoes. Backstage, Tasha Steelz and Deonna Purrazzo got into a little disagreement. Afterwards, it looks like real-life besties Deonna and Chelsea Green might be able to get on the same page. This Thursday, we're going to have a tag team match. Jordan Grace and Mia Yim versus Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans. But that all leads to the Knockouts Women's Championship Queen of the Mountain match with these 5 competitors. Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steelz defending, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim, Jordan Grace. Again, here we go with the gimmick button. They're pulling King of the Mountain match. Now, here are the rules that I remember from these King of the Mountain matches. Obviously, no disqualification. It's, again, going with the reverse battle royal. This is a reverse ladder match where you have to take the title and put it onto a hook hanging from the ceiling that you need to use a ladder to go up to.
Don't you have to become eligible first?
Now, in order to become eligible to do so, you must score a pin or submission. Once you score a pin or submission, and apparently anywhere in the arena, the last I was watching to see if I could find a graphic just to have the rules explained, so I'm not sounding like an idiot, just like with the reverse battle royal. But the pinfalls can count anywhere in the building. Once you get a pinfall or submission, you are allowed to begin to try to win the match by hanging the belt. If you get pinned or if you tap out, let's do some. There's going to be a penalty box next to the ring, and you get a 2-minute minor for sucking. And you have to go and spend 2 minutes. You have to drag yourself over to the penalty box, and I do believe that the clock doesn't start until you're in the penalty box. And after 2 minutes and you're recovered, you can back out and you can start trying to play the game again. With all that said, John DeCounty, I spy 2 Jersey girls. But I can't ever go against Deonna, so I'm not going to now. Although maybe, I don't know, her and Mac when I have wedding plans, I don't know.
Yeah, this is that spot where it just feels like Impact's going to impact and put the belt on the shiny new toy. I'm going to go with Mia Yim here.
Yeah, this seems like she's the easy pick.
Now that will, if Mia Yim gets a clean victory, especially if, God forbid, she pins Tasha in this tag match on Thursday night, then that's going to blow up my whole plan, and I'm going to have to change my pick. But, right for now, I'm going with Mia.
Yeah, everybody's eating defeat right now. Just real quick, James Willard, he commented twice. I forgot to bring this up. Gunther's going to break the Honky Tonk Man's record.
Ooh.
Could be.
John Smith.
454 days.
Wow. I like that you know that. That's like Hank Aaron's record or Cal Ripken or whatever numbers. DiMaggio 51, right? Like Honky Tonk Man 454. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with me. I'm gonna go with Mia also. I think it makes the most sense. I mean, Jordan Grace should win a match like this, but I think it's me. Yeah.
Ryan Joy.
This is tough because Impact is such where like all of the titles could change hands on the show. That's kind of how Impact does it. Like all the titles will change hands or none of the titles will change hands. And I'm kind of leaning towards a bunch of retentions. So I could lose a lot of points here by titles changing hands. I'm picking Tasha Steelz to retain. Here's what I think could be fun and interesting, and this would be a very Impact thing to do. I think everybody pins Tasha Steelz to get eligible. But then Tasha Steelz ends up, she does all her time in the penalty box, but she does get a pin at some point or a submission, and she ends up winning the match after being pinned by everybody.
just so everybody knows we're all on the same page and we're not discussing it on Monday or Tuesday, whatever. Roll-ups will count during. I am counting roll-ups like during the for this match to be eligible, so I'm going to count it. All right, let's wrap this up quick. We got a couple minutes left. Sami Callihan and Moose got into it backstage. Sami got bloodied up, but had the last laugh as he locked Moose in the storage room when they were fighting. Found out the other day we're getting Monsters Ball. Oh, there we go. There it is. So if memory serves me correctly, what these two are going to have to do is on, I guess the match will probably be at maybe 10 o'clock on Sunday night. So as of 10 o'clock on Saturday night, 24 hours before, they will be locked into a dark room with no food, no water, or no daylight, and they will be released upon entering the ring for Monsters Ball, where anything goes. And Monsters Balls in the past, won by Rhino, has been involved with Jeff Hardy, Sabu, Raven. It's been bloodbaths. Abyss is the Monsters Ball king, obviously. John Smith, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Man, this seems like it's tailor-made for Sami Callihan to win, so I'm going to go with him, even though Moose is my boy.
Right, Joy.
This feels like it's just a regular Sunday for Sami Callihan. This is how he does his, Sundays. I'm picking Moose, though, because if memory serves me correct, every time we get to one of these matches like this, Sami Callihan always loses it. So at least that's what's burnt into my memory here. So it's a match made for Sami that he'll lose to go off.
John the County.
Yeah, if there had been a bigger build-up to this and Sami, this had been in the middle of the year and Sami hadn't been out at Moose's hands, I would agree with Ryan. But I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Sami gets it done after cheese grating Moose's back with the N64 controller wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, I can't. I'm taking Moose. I can't think of anything Sami can do that would drop Moose. And funny thing on last Thursday with Moose, last guy that played mind games on me, his boys carried him away to another cup, whatever. It was an EC3 reference or whatever he was talking. I thought that was kind of funny. So I got Moose. I can't think of anything Sami could do that would keep Moose down. And then in our main event, we have the Impact World Championship. Last week, Joe Doring defeated Josh Alexander by disqualification after Josh took the violent by design flag and cross-checked Joe Doring with it. That's hockey also. I like how this is two Canadians, too. A hockey cross-check by the Canadian. There you go. Not a lot of post-match shenanigans as Violent by Design walked away to fight another day. Eric Young, who won a gauntlet match a couple of weeks ago to qualify for this. He's the guy. If there's anybody that's been Mr. TNA, Eric Young has been that guy. So I like how they figured him into this spot, John DeConnie.
Yeah, he was the perfect guy to put here. But, I believe, as Josh has said, EY has been around for 20 years, and that's wonderful, but Josh is the future. He's the next 20 years. Josh Alexander retains.
John Smith.
Yet again, I'm on the same page as Mr. DeConti.
Ryan Joy.
Yeah, I'm with John and John.
There's absolutely no reason to take this belt off of Josh Alexander. It's gonna be a lot of. I can't wait for the match. I think this match is gonna be great. This is going to be a great match. So that will do it. Here are the Raw roll-ups from this past week. Thunder Rosa on Marina Shafir on Dynamite. Mark Andrews got one on Kenny Williams on UK. Rosemary on Tennille Dashwood. And then Seth Rollins on AJ Styles. So that puts us... Raw cracked 30, as we said. AEW hit the 25 half-century mark. Good for them. Impact hit 20 times SmackDown. And NXT UK finally hits double digits 2.0. Mike Ball, Speed Bailey with 7.
Mike Ball.
Xavier Woods is still leading the way in the win column, and The Miz still leading the way in the loss column, so nothing new developing there. So as we get into our I like rock. That's my choice of. There it is. Hit that money, make music. The primetime rundown. Let's go into our graphic department here. Here we go. Primetime rundown. Regular season programming has concluded, and it will resume its second summer schedule, which begins Monday, June 6th at 7 p.m., which that already happened. So for the past 2 weeks, we can join Joe Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, and Mike Zavo as they bring you the world of sports on Monday nights in the thick of the summer right here on the Eastern Observer. And as far as our Eastern Observer bracket challenge, the New York Rangers couldn't get it done. So that eliminates Mike Zabo, Joe Jarzanka, Anthony Micaria, or Drew Skadoodles. It's down to me and Tyler. So the Colorado Avalanche win. I am the bracket challenge champion. If not, Tyler Adelle trips into the championship. Speaking of Tyler Adelle, he's back. We have a new show on the Eastern Observer, one near and dear to my icy heart, The Sunday Sauce, every Sunday afternoon, hosted by our very own Sheriff Tyler Adelle and his partner Andrew Micaria, Drew Skadoodles, as they bring you everything NHL and all of the league's happenings. Get saucy this Sunday afternoon right here on The Sunday Sauce on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. They are doing draft specials. They're going through each of the NHL 4 divisions and doing draft special, draft needs, and all that fun stuff. So make sure you find the Sunday Sauce. Black Cats NYC. Make sure you go to any of their new any of these music platforms. Anywhere you get your music, you can get the Black Cats NYC's album Free Cake out now. Play it loud. As always, the Essential Wrestling's podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestling.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. And then come back here the same way you are watching or listening to us now. Make sure you join us back here for the next episode as we recap Slammiversary and make our picks for Forbidden Door. We're just going to see what kind of matches is. I thought we were done with this, John DeConnie. I thought Cody was off TV for a while. I thought this was just done.
Never ends.
John Smith, anything from your end before we get out of here?
Cody is trash.
All right, Ryan Joy. John DeConnie.
I'm looking forward to hearing Barry Scott's voice. That Slam. Yeah.
All right. Alexa Bliss, we love you. John DeConnie, I forgot to play. I was going to play that song for you. Is that song playing again?
No, I changed the wake-up word.
I was going to play it for you. I forgot to do that, guys. Now I'm not to going forward. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us, and as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Future Hall of Famer?
Depends.